Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for the week of March 2nd. Happy birthday to all you March Pisces out there. You have this talisman card that says you are destined to succeed. You have a satyr, it says revelry and indulgence. Of course, this first row is going to be your current general energies, so could be a good week for you to have more fun with that card. The first card, this one here, and to get out there. It is a healing week, so you start with the Three of Swords, Two of Swords, and the Nine of Pentacles. Three of Swords can be like heartbreak or sadness, but it can also just be healing in general. And of course, we have this eclipse on the 3rd in Virgo, and so I would say that Three of Swords is more good for healing anything from the past or healing things that you've been through. I always say the Three of Swords is really a card of forgiveness. We have to remove those swords from our heart so that we can heal. And we don't have to forgive a person directly. We just have to forgive them in our heart. It doesn't even have to be a person. It could be yourself or things that you have, that you feel like didn't work out in your life or whatever the case may be. And healing those things will be a good thing for you here, Pisces. Again, in your current general energies, you have the Two of Swords, Three of Swords, and the Nine of Pentacles. It is funny that you have that card that says you're destined to succeed, but the Three of Swords could say you're feeling like you're not going to succeed at something, and when you are. So again, I would definitely make sure that you're healing and doing any healing that you can do. Of course, we have this Mercury retrograde, which will start in a few days from when this video is published. Today is the 23rd, so the retrograde starts on the 26th, and, like I said, retrogrades are good for healing, for forgiving the past, doing all that other stuff, so kind of makes sense. You have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is this or that thinking. She's trying to protect her heart here, of course. But she needs to see that things can be different, really. She needs to get over to this island. Normally, I don't really say that on the Two of Swords. Like, I usually say this is my card of third place solutions. But for you, I do feel it's different, Pisces. I feel like it's saying that you need to believe that things can be different. It's like you need to believe that your life can be different in general. I don't even think this is about, like, one thing. I think this is about, all sorts of things going on. And I feel like you need to know that there is something, there is more for you in the world. And I would just really focus on that. She does need to get over here. So again, if you're stuck on any decisions or any choices that you're trying to make, realizing that there are other ways of doing things is always helpful. You do have the Nine of Pentacles here. So the Nine of Pentacles is gratitude, luxuries, abundance, very abundant time for you. If you're watching this before the 26th, the 26th, even though the retrograde starts on the 26th, the 26th is a kind of like a lucky day for you, Pisces. So, if there's anything involving luck that you want to try, or, if you're thinking about like launching something or, starting something, again, even though it's the retrograde, I don't really care. I still think it's a really good day. So, again, if you're watching this early, before the week starts, that could be a good time to start. The other thing I would say is that the Nine of Pentacles is about focus. She has this falcon on her hand here, and it represents the fact that she's training her focus. We go up here to the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands, I always say we can't be pulling in two directions with the Eight of Wands. We have to point in one direction. And so as we start the month of March here, it might be a good month. Even, if you're watching this at the end of February, it would probably be a good time for you to like pick a direction of focus for the month of March. It's almost like this reading is saying you can pick the theme for the month. And don't let the universe pick for you, right? With the Three of Swords, you have the Death card. The Death, which actually could be really good because this could say that you're changing something in regards to past heartbreaks. And again, I think this is not just one heartbreak. I feel like this is, multiple experiences that you've had that have been less than favorable. This could be things that you've worked on that didn't work out, relationships, ideas, things with your health, whatever. And I feel like you're kind of like entering into a time where you are changing these things for the better, or at least you should be. The other thing that I would say is we have this Pope-looking guy right here, and he is begging for his life on the card. and he represents traditional belief. We go down to the Hierophant here, who also represents traditional belief. Sometimes I feel the Hierophant wants us to more think outside the box, wants us to not get stuck doing things the old way. And so it might be a good time for you to like open up to just new ways of doing things and make sure that you're not getting stuck in tradition, especially after that we've had Neptune and Pisces for so long. You know, of course, now it's in Aries, but Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief. So for the past many years, Neptune has been asking you why. Why do you believe certain things about yourself, about the world, about whatever to be true? And you don't really have to have an answer. Just again, it's not about it's not about having an answer, really. It's just the universe is saying like, why do you believe these things? And now that Neptune's in Aries, it's like we can change any of those beliefs that we want to change. And again, the beautiful thing about Neptune is it doesn't say like, oh, you have to change your beliefs. It just says you can if you want to. So, you know, again, if your whole entire life you've felt like love is bad, but you want love, obviously I would start believing that love is good. Same thing about money. If your whole entire life here you have felt like money is a challenge, you know, it might be a good time to start thinking like, well, what, you know, maybe that's not true anymore. Maybe I can start to believe that money comes to me easily, or, you know, something like that. And again, I think, again, it's Mercury retrograde the entire month. So, you know, there's no rush this month, and maybe the whole entire month, it would just be a good time for you to be like, why do I believe this? Is there a better belief that I can choose? I don't know. With the Two of Swords, you have the High Priestess, which is great. You know, whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength. We have the Hierophant right here. We also end with this Soulmates card, which I'll show you at the end in just a minute. And so if you're looking for love, again, it has been a really good time for love for you. Even though it's a retrograde, again, I still think it's a good time for love for Pisces. These two are divine counterparts. I like these two more than the Emperor and the Empress. It's like a more spiritual connection. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be like communication, which again, during a Mercury retrograde, if you start something with communication, that is perfectly fine. Because again, if it survives the retrograde, then it's probably going to be pretty good. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the World card. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles in the World is your environment. Nine of Pentacles is a card of your environment. We have this snail right here. Snails wear their homes on their backs. So the Nine of Pentacles really is the card of heaven on earth. It doesn't say that we have heaven on earth. It says we need to create heaven on earth as much as we possibly can. So obviously we're humans. It's not going to be perfect. But with the world, it definitely would represent the fact that if you change your world, meaning the environment around you first, then things will get better. So, you know, this reading is definitely what I would say is an environment reading. I think it's talking about your environment, you know, like where you live, what you experience, you know, the energy around you, all those other things. And I think paying attention to that is going to be very good for you, Pisces. So I would make sure that you're, you know, kind of creating a positive environment here. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Divine Infinity card. It says, challenge yourself to go beyond your limitations and you'll find your infinity. High Priestess, Two of Swords, Eight of Wands, Eight of Cups, Two of Wands. All those cards represent needing to challenge yourself and go beyond your infinity. You have this Believe card. This card doesn't even belong in this deck, but we'll take it. It says, when you wholeheartedly embrace the attainability of your dreams, you will find the courage to exceed the ordinary. Yeah. All your readings are pushing you, Pisces, to do something that you don't think is possible. I think you do think it's possible a little bit, but I do think there are some, you know, maybe some limiting beliefs or some things that you have to change or work on deep down inside to make sure that you do accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And, you know, that's what I would really work on with these cards. But it's definitely a good time for you to, you know, exceed your expectations. You know, again, especially Saturn, Neptune in your second house in Aries, I think is amazing for building value. You know, I said this in your March monthly reading, that I think the best thing for you to do is to make yourself more valuable to yourself. It's like you have to challenge yourself to do things that maybe are hard, because when you accomplish those things, then you're going to start valuing yourself more. The more you value yourself, with especially Saturn in the second, the more the world will value you. So I would be working on all of those things. You have the Emperor, the Hierophant, and the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, the Emperor could be about you really taking control. Again, Saturn and Neptune in your second house. We also are getting closer and closer and closer to the end of Chiron and Aries. Personally, I think Chiron and Aries has been a pain in the ass for Pisces, just in general. Chiron is the wounded healer. In the second house, it has to do with value, and it has to do with your money as well. So it's like, I think money has gotten better for Pisces in general, or at least the energy of money has gotten better for Pisces. But I still feel that Pisces has been experiencing, those wounds from the past, or, again, the Chiron can bring up old wounds that we need to heal so that we can create an improvement in wherever it's falling in our chart. So again, having it in the second, I think, can bring up like financial wounds, financial insecurities, and also anything like, again, feeling and sorry, Pisces, I don't know what's going on with my recording today, but it looked weird for a second, so hopefully nothing happened. But with Chiron there, I think that anything having to do with value, we need to take control of. So that's what I would do with the Emperor. You have the Hierophant. The Hierophant can represent blessings or receiving blessings. So again, I feel that he is kind of like blessing these two people in front of him. They are learning, those two people in front of him. And he is blessing them, and he is kind of indoctrinating them into a belief system. He has these 3 levels to his crown, which represents initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. I'm telling you right now, Pisces, if you're starting anything new, I think it's going to go a lot faster than you think, which I think I've said to you before. Again, it's like there are stages you're going to have to go through, like if you're starting a business or a career, or if you're starting a new relationship or whatever. It's like, yeah, there are going to be these levels that you have to go through. But at the same time, again, sorry if my camera is disconnecting here, Pisces. I might have to pause this and fix it in a second. But anyway, at the same time, I think that, putting the work in learning something and going through the process is going to be very helpful for you. He also communicates with heaven and earth, the Hierophant. He communicates with both sides. And so he needs to bring heaven down to earth. And I feel a lot of you, with the 9 of Pentacles, the World, it's like you could be bringing your vision down to earth with this energy. You have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles can be like good news, could also be about learning. So a lot of you could be learning something new with this Page of Pentacles energy. You could also be learning a new person. It is kind of funny, Pisces, because I feel like I said to you last year that it's like you could be meeting a person that doesn't move as quickly as you're used to, or it's like, and sorry, Pisces, that cord has been going out on me, I think, so I replaced it. Hopefully that stops, but you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. I'll try to edit it out. But anyway, you have the Page of Pentacles, and like I said, I think that Pisces likes more aggressive interest from people. It's like if people are, when they make their intentions very clear that they're obviously interested in you. I feel like this could be like someone who's like a little bit slower that could be coming in here, like I said. With the Emperor, you have the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands can be a victory, big success coming in for you. Again, this guy here definitely values himself. He is sitting on his high horse, and it's like he knows that he earned his right to be celebrated. And so, again, I do think a lot of this reading is talking about your beliefs, your belief in yourself. And it's like the more you believe in yourself, the more you value yourself, the better things are going to get. Not only right now, but, for years to come. So definitely something to work on. With the Hierophant, you have the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands can represent carrying a heavy burden, doing things the hard way. And again, I do think that with this retrograde, it kind of makes sense that some of you could be thinking back to the past. Since we're just Neptune just entered into Aries, so maybe this retrograde is kind of like reminding you of what you went through during Neptune and Aries, and it's like making you, it's almost like this reading is saying to me, to you, that you are like double checking your beliefs. You're checking in on what you believe to be true, or what you think the world wants from you, or whatever it is. And again, I don't really think this is bad or good, really. I feel that you're just like looking at your beliefs. You're looking at what beliefs cause a burden, maybe with the Ten of Wands, or what beliefs cause more issues than they're worth, and you're probably just changing those beliefs. The Ten of Wands just says lighten the load. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Star, which is amazing. There is something about the astrology right now, I feel, for water signs, where it's like if you want something, I think you have to ask, basically. And sometimes I think the Star is kind of a wish, but it's like we have to ask for it, and then the universe will be like, sure, you can have this, but then you have to take action. So is it really a wish? I would say, I don't know. It's almost like the universe is like saying to Pisces, like, okay, you can ask for something, and I will I'll help you create the appropriate environment for that wish to be true. But then you have to like start taking the steps. It's like the universe is like laying out the red carpet for Pisces and saying like, okay, yes, I'm going to put this long ass red carpet for you to walk down, but it's like you have to walk down it. There are going to be people that ask you questions on this red carpet. There might be, a cat that walks in front of you. You have to avoid the obstacle. It's like there are things in the way, but it's like the universe is laying out the path is kind of what I feel on that energy. I don't know, kind of weird message for the Star. Next, we are going to look at messages from your future self. You have this Roadrunner card. It says trust in knowledge. You also have this Lizard. It says the unexpected. Yes. So, I think that we are in a time of the unexpected. I think you have to trust your knowledge is what that card should say. Roadrunners are supposed to be really fast. So, it's like I think you have learned enough over the past many years. And it's like if you knew that you knew everything, Pisces, I don't think you would be moving very slowly towards whatever you were trying to accomplish, right? And so, I think it's time to get moving. We literally start with the Eight of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. The Eight of Wands is quick success or quick conclusion. So the Eight of Wands can be something that happens quickly, but all those wands are pointing in one direction. You have the Star. The Star is about having a North Star goal, having one thing that you focus on. So if you want, I know this is a weekly reading, but I feel like it's talking about the whole month. So, if you want to accomplish something this month, even though it's Mercury retrograde, I don't care. Again, it's like people tell me all the time, it's Mercury retrograde, I can't do anything. Meanwhile, I just work and I just do things and I just get them done. So it's like, sure. I mean, it's like if you want astrology or tarot to control your life, sure, go for it. That's another prison that you can be in. Or you can just acknowledge it and say, okay, it's Mercury retrograde. I just need to double check things. I just need to make sure I'm not making mistakes and go back over things. And as long as I double check things, I'll get things done, right? So I don't know. The choice is yours. And I would make the choice to make the moves. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can be regrets or sadness. Again, I do think this retrograde could be a little bit more introspective. I don't really think it's bad, but I do think you could be looking at things that you wish you had, but there's clearly something better. He's grieving the loss of something he doesn't even want anymore. But if he turned around, he'd get these two cups, this bridge, and this castle. So the Five of Cups has a very easy solution, which is gratitude. If he were grateful for what he had, he would get the bridge and the castle. You have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, definitely like a bold new energy here for you, Pisces. I think I said in your March reading, I think your March reading was about how like people are going to be seeing you differently. And this is something that you've been working on for a very long period of time. And that's why people are going to be seeing you differently. I feel like Pisces is caring less in a good way, It's like you're caring less what people think. You're caring less about, what people say and things like that. And so, again, I do think that you are going to be, like, more bold, assertive, confident, all that other good stuff. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, it definitely could be love. This could be a person communicating with you, that they're interested in you, something like that. I feel like for now, it will probably stay communication, which is, like I said, perfectly fine. There's no rush. I also feel, of course, both cards have to do with flow. The Ace of Cups is overflowing. I always say with this card that we need to do as much as we can to get into the flow. This card the cup can reach into the water below it and fill itself back up. So it's about doing things in life that you can do endlessly. With the Eight of Wands, the more in the flow you are, the better things get. With the Five of Cups, you have the Six of Swords. Some of you could, really just finally be closing out a cycle. I mean, again, this is the second eclipse that we're having at this time. We just had one in Aquarius. This one on March 3rd is in Virgo, and then we won't have another set of eclipses for a little bit of time here. And, so again, it wouldn't surprise me if you're finally like cutting something out of your life and moving on to calmer shores. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune can be a change in your fortunes, of course, or more luck coming in for you here, Pisces. So I do feel that you could be kind of like increasing your luck here with the Wheel of Fortune, but it's probably going to be through bold moves. Again, it's like I said, it's like the red carpet is rolled out for Pisces, but Pisces has to, but there are some obstacles on that red carpet. There are some things that you're going to have to do, right? And you have to walk down the red carpet. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the Serendipity card and the Soulmates card. So, sure, could be like a little bit of a serendipitous moment for you, Pisces, where you meet a person that is a soulmate for some of you. That Serendipity card also represents a change in your luck, so you could be feeling more lucky at this time. You have the Eight of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. Again, Eight of Cups makes a lot of sense during an eclipse because it's the only card in the tarot with an eclipse on it right here. So a lot of you could just be walking away from things that no longer serve you. Again, that Aquarius eclipse that we just had is really good for making space that can be filled in by something better. And so even though we're past the eclipse, again, eclipse energy can last for like 6 months. So, for pretty much the next 6 months, we could be any space that we create, Pisces, could be filled in by something much better. And so don't be afraid of like cutting things out that no longer align with who you are. You have the Two of Wands. Again, the whole entire reading wants you to like clearly exceed your expectations. He's built a castle, but the castle is kind of like a comfort zone. The universe is asking him to create a new world, which the whole entire reading is asking you, Pisces, to create a new world with the Nine of Pentacles, star, world, all the stuff going on here that we've talked about. And so he needs to like step away from comfort and, create something new, which I feel the reading is asking you to do. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands, a card of conviction. I do feel this reading is really talking about your belief in yourself, which we talked about, with value, how you value yourself. Like if you really cared for yourself, you would take care of yourself, right? And the more you do that, the more the world will value you, Pisces. And so I think the Seven of Wands is good in the good stuff, of course. It's a card of conviction. It's a card of knowing that you know what you deserve. And I feel the more you stick to that, the better. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles can represent feeling left out in the cold, but it's coming up in the good stuff. So some of you, clearly, there definitely could be a soulmate or love coming in for you here, and you could finally be coming out of the cold. With the Two of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is fulfillment or wish fulfillment coming in for you. We talked about asking for a wish, but I don't sugarcoat my readings. It's like, I think this is good. I think there's wish energy here. But it's like you're not going to just be able to sit here and go like this, and then your wish is going to magically appear in front of your face. It's like there's work to do. So sorry, it's not going to necessarily be easy, but that's the truth. So deal with it, Pisces. And, do the work, because clearly it's like, it's not even going to be hard. I think that if anything, if you're wishing for something, it's like you're making it harder by thinking about it. So, and trust me, I'm a Pisces. I do the same thing. So I get it. But, I think it's time to make a wish and go for it. With the Seven of Wands, here you go. You have the Empress. We have divine counterparts here, Pisces. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be a very strong divine counterpart coming in for you at this time. The Empress, of course, is also just great for abundance, gratitude, all the energies we talked about here. Next, you have this younger woman. It says dealings or relationships with a younger woman. You have the Sun card. It says happiness and well-being. Again, if you're attracting love, either you are the younger person or they are. Again, there could be some sort of age difference here. But obviously we have the Sun, so probably a lot of happiness in the connection. The other funny thing I'm getting here, Pisces, I think a lot of you could be doing things to feel younger. And I would absolutely recommend it. So, it's like maybe you're working on your health, or maybe you're working on your appearance or something like that. I don't know. I think it could work. You have this archway. It says new opportunities, possibilities, and paths opening up. Yeah, finally, Pisces. I think there are tons of new opportunities. Again, it's like you're like, look, there's a road straight through that archway. Like I said, I think the only challenge of the reading, I don't even think it's a challenge. I think it's like a small challenge, is wishing for something, then doing it, then going for it, right? Walking down the path. You have this broken wishbone. It says, wish will not be granted. 5 of Cups. I think there's something that Pisces needs to let go of. Whatever it is. It could be a belief about yourself. It could be a person you're having a hard time letting go of. Whatever. But, it's like, I think Pisces has been beat up too much over the past many years. So, it can be hard to let go, when that happens, because you feel like you're never going to find something again. But the truth is, you are. You have this rooster. It says, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. Yes, we should be avoiding people like this. Neptune and Aries, Saturn and Aries. You have this target. It says, a goal-oriented person. You, Pisces, star, 8 of Wands, world. You need to have a goal. I would pick something. It doesn't even have to be specific. I think it can be very general. But having something to work towards is going to be very beneficial for you, especially with that second house energy for sure. But this looks pretty good, Pisces, so thank you for being here. Make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.